Hi everyone, it's episode 14. It's a little bit different this time around. I think I'm recording for the first time in the morning, so it's 9:30, and I'm here at the Innovation Center in Kosovo in Pristina. It's a good space here. There's nobody here, so it's pretty good. I get to talk anything I want without feeling like anyone's listening to me, besides you, of course. Today what I want to talk about is how I work. And the way this came about was that last week, I think 2 weeks ago, a lot of people online were talking about, how bootstrappers work and how companies work, etc. So I am going to talk from a bootstrapper's perspective, where you work on your own, where you're doing everything by yourself, as I'm doing. Let's say I'm coding, I'm designing, I'm doing marketing, sales, customer support, etc. So from that perspective, the way that I divide my day, especially right now where I'm taking some client work, is that I try to divide it about 50-50. And there are days where I work a little bit more on clarity tasks or a little bit more on client work, or if there's something that I have to deliver for a client, I may be working a full day, and then just try to look at tasks that I have ongoing for client task or do some support with clients. And then there's days where I maybe go 2 days straight working on a new feature and without breaking away from it. And the reason I do that is because if I'm working on a feature that is sort of heavy-ish, I can't break away from it. Sometimes I don't even answer calls if it's not my family. So I won't pick up the phone, and I just try to stay in the zone, just try to stay focused and try to get it done on one go. And when I say one go, I mean, if it lasts 3 days, I will sit on it for 3 days, build it, test it, shoot it to clients for review, and then launch it, and then jump on something else. So with that said, the way my work in Clarity Task is divided specifically is that I have a list that has features in it, tasks that are features. And these are features that last anywhere from a day to maybe a couple of days. And then I have another list or a task group in Clarity Task where I have my quickies. And what quickies are, there are bugs, fixes, small features, small improvements that may take anywhere from a minute to maybe half an hour per task, and they are not features. So it's not a new functionality, it's just an improvement to an existing feature, or it's a bug or something reported by a client. And these are my 2 major task groups or lists in Clarity Task. So I have my features and my quickies, and I shuffle. I go back and forth between both. Usually, if I am starting to work on a feature, what I usually do is I try to get rid of some quickies, some quick tasks here and there, and then jump on a major feature. And then once I'm done with the major feature, I won't get back to another feature without, picking some small features here and there and just, cleaning them up, putting them away, etc. So these are the basically how I work. And yesterday I was talking to a friend. He has an app as well, and he was asking me how I deal with feature requests, because I had said, as I was talking to him, I was, telling him how, just what I told you actually, like how I work. And one thing he asked me, he said, how you work on features, like how do you pick what features to work on? So it's usually a combination of a feature being requested a few times by different clients, and if it matches my idea of how a certain functionality should go, I will probably give it a priority. So let's say I have an idea in the back of my mind, or it's a task somewhere in my ideas folder, and it has something to do with, let's say, people permissions. I'm just taking an example. And then it's in the back of my mind every time. And then if it keeps popping up once, twice, 3 times, or even once, if I see a use case where it matches the use case that I was anticipating for users to have, then it gets a priority. Other times it's features that I never thought about, but the users are requesting it. And to pass it through development, I really have to make sense of the use case behind it. So usually what I do is I ask the client about a specific reason why they need a feature. Example, last week there was a support ticket, a client asking about a feature which I've thought about building it actually, and it's supposed to be on ClearTask because it ties with one of the major features in ClearTask, which is any user can can set their status as working on any task and only one task at a time. And what you do is you go to a task. If you're not a ClearTask user, I'll explain it quickly. If you're on a task, each task has a button saying work on this, and then you click on it, it turns green, it says working, and then you can only work on one task at a time. And what this does is that it gives your other team members or your managers a way to see what every person is working on without having to ping everybody or message or email or call or get to a meeting. However, right now, to see what someone is working on, you have to go to a People's tab and then click on a specific person, and then you'll see what they're working on. However, what I've been wanting to do for the longest time is I want to have a button on the sidebar, on the right sidebar, ClearTask, where you click on it, and it gives you a list of everybody in your team and then tasks they're currently working on. And then this way you can tell what somebody's working on. If someone is not working on anything, you can ping them. And maybe if they're free, you can, see if they want to take on something else, or if somebody's working on something, you want them to jump on something else, you can quickly comment them, and then this way you can work faster without having to hold a meeting or call someone. So to go back to my client requesting this feature, which I've been wanting to build anyway, he said, "Hey, we have a list somewhere quickly to see like a pop-up, like a quick drop down where we can see what everybody's working on?" And I said, "Yes, I've been wanting to do this." However, I said, "Can you tell me a specific reason why you need that?" And I wanted him to go, even though I would know what they're going to say and why they need it. I know it sounds very simple, but I really want to hear out like why they want that. And sometimes you'll be surprised, So it's always good to hear, even if it's one of the features that you've been wanting to build, or if it's a new feature, it's always good to ask, tell me a specific reason, tell me a specific use case. And if they start talking on broad terms, you can say, and this is what I did last week, can you tell me a specific task, like what the task was, what you were trying to do? And then this was another feature request from another client. They wanted reminders on tasks. And I've been wanting to do reminders on tasks as well. And they wanted to do date and time. And I didn't understand why they wanted the time, because, reminder, you set a reminder, and then you can get reminded the next day or something along those lines. And he said, well, like I am talking to someone, I have delegated them a task. Let's say the specific task is pay electricity. And then I want to follow up. However, I have a million things working on currently, and I want to be reminded of that task that I need to follow up. So I need the exact time when I need to follow up, and then when that happens, I need a pop-up or something like a widget, etc. And I said, maybe I can send you an email as well. I said, no, I don't want emails. The reason why we have ClearTask open all day is because it doesn't send emails, and we can just rely on it with notifications and everything, so we don't have to get the same thing on both places. And this is one of the things that I think is a major feature in ClearTask, that ClearTask doesn't send out any emails. And I've been having requests for this from clients, and clients have said, can we have an email so it, sends us notification that something is done, etc. And everything is on ClearTask. So if somebody completes a task you've delegated, you get a notification. That notification stays there forever. It's on task history. You can tell who did it, the time they did it, etc. So every task has a history about everything. So emails are not sent. And to go back to how I work on feature requests, it's usually a combination of a request matching what I was anticipating and something that is requested a lot. And if it's something that's really out there, I will usually not say no, and this is not in a way to be nice, but I don't know. I mean, I will write it down, and then even if it's the craziest idea ever, maybe something else comes up in Claritas down the line where that task will make sense. So I will just leave it there, make a note of it, who requested it, and then see if it gets repeated another time, or when I look at it later on, maybe it will make sense in a different sort of setting. So, but I won't react on it if it's completely out there, doesn't match any other requests from other clients, doesn't match my anticipation of anything like that happening, and I will just monitor it down the line. I won't look at it every day, but once a month, whenever I do house cleaning with my tasks, I will just go over tasks and see, the context that it was requested. And I always write the context, like why they requested it, who requested it, what was the reason behind it, because I will forget, doing all these things on my own, I will forget. If it's not written down, it will just pass me by. I will never know what that task meant. And I've had times where I've looked at a task and I wouldn't even know why I wrote it. And this way I try to gather as much information about a specific task, a specific request. Another good thing is that I have a new client on trial. They have entered their credit card. I have right now, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but right now what I'm doing is I'm having my trials at 7 days. So it's not 30, it's not 15, it's 7 days. So they enter the credit card. It doesn't get charged right away. They have a full open Claritas with all unlimited features. They have 7 days to onboard their team, ping me, and then beyond those 7 days, they can of course ping me every time, and then I'll be helpful to them. So this new client is very excited. They love Claritas. Their team loves it. They had a couple of questions about. One of the things was that in Claritas, even staff members or admin permissions, everybody has a similar permission on tasks, so they can edit, delete, assign, reassign, comment, and everything. They can do everything administrator can do. And they said, well, we don't. We sort of feel kind of like insecure if, let's say, a specific staff member doesn't maybe know how to use Claritas well, and they go delete a task or edit a task, and we wouldn't know it. And I reassured them that that's the sort of the point in Claritas where any action by anyone in the staff, it goes down to task history. And then if someone deletes a task, you get a notification. You can recover that task. If someone edits the task, you can see previous versions, who edited, what the original version of that task was. So everything is intact, and you always get your notification on the right-hand side of your dashboard. And also you have project history where you can see what everyone did on the specific project. And this is not to micromanage or anything, but usually in service business, you have times where you really need to report to your client what you've done to a specific project, like what tasks you worked on. And this way you can go back and then have proof that, what everybody did, the time they've entered, when they entered it, etc. So you have all those details if you need them. And they're liking Claritas. I think Monday they will go a little bit further using it with real projects, and hopefully they stay. It's one of the companies that it's big, so they have a bunch of people, more than 10, and it's a perfect target, perfect client for Claritas. I have similar clients like them, so when I was supporting them, I was telling them about other feedback that I got from clients of a similar industry, and this helped a lot with telling them and showing them what Claritas does. So yeah, I'm hoping they convert. It should be around Wednesday, I think. So around there. So let me see what other notes I have here. I'm still open to actually, I mentioned this in the last episode, I'm opening this podcast, this show to sponsorships, and they can run as low as $20 per mention per episode. And I can talk about your product. I can talk about any specific features, any specific offer. The target, the crowd is the bootstrappers, indie hackers, makers, developers, designers, founders that are listening to this show. And if you have a product that they can benefit from, I'll be more than happy to find a slot for you. You can start as low as $20, and you get, I'm going with 10 cents per listener, and I'm getting about 186 listens per episode, so close to 200 in the first 30 days. So that's usually what they count. So the first 30 days, whoever listens, because that's when the time when that advertisement, the promotion will be relevant. And another change that I did, let me see how much time. All right, 15 minutes. That's perfect. All right, I'm trying to keep these shows 15, 20 minutes. I don't want to go to 30 minutes anymore because I think 15 minutes, it's a really nice way to wrap up everything, what happened in the last week and what will go on in the next. And another change I did when working with client work, up to now, I was doing lump sum fixed price projects. And that sort of would bother me after the project would get done in my terms, and then client would ask for revisions, and I would go just insane. I would be, in my mind, I would say, this should have been done. I don't want to do this. It should have been a fixed price because they're asking all these iterations, etc. So right now, what I'm doing, I'm working hourly, and what's that helping with is that the client can go on for as long as they want. I know it limits me to make more in times when I'm giving more value than they're paying for, but it's a really good measure to sort of let them know what I worked on, and if they keep doing revisions, etc., I just give them an update how many hours have been so far, and if they want to go on. And this is helping me stay a little bit more sane, to be honest, and it's really good. So working on hourly rates with clients, trying to get about 4 hours a day with client work, and it's working out very good, actually. I'm more calm in the decisions I make with Claritask. Yes, the time is a bit less daily on Claritask. However, Claritask is very stable right now, where it needs not a lot of work. It needs maintenance here and there, a lot of support, actually. Last week, there was support from current clients who are onboarding their new team and asking questions about different permission levels, etc. And I had new people trying Claritask, asking me questions. This new client that have entered their credit card asking me questions. So an entire week was my first experience sort of being on top of customer support, and really, it really got me tired, to be honest. But I didn't hate it. I loved it. It made me feel like, there's some traction. People are loving it. People are interested in Claritask. Questions are all positive. So that's good. So bring it on. I said this on Twitter. Bring it on. I'm here. Just, bring the support on. Yeah. Capterra reviews, I about 14 or 15 reviews, all 5-star, all organic, but one was through Capterra's facilitated review process, where they hand out $20 for each reviewer that takes their time to write a review, positive or negative, which I don't have control over to edit or anything like that. So far, it's all 5 stars. Comments are great. There are here and there are feature requests and things that could be better, and I'm looking into them and seeing how Claritask can be better, and constantly shooting new users requests for reviews. If they find Claritask useful, I'm asking them to leave a review on Capterra, because that helps me with my listing on Capterra going up the list, and more people possibly finding Claritask organically, which is much more better than when you're directly selling. Which brings me to the last point of this podcast. This next week, I will give a try to doing some cold emailing and trying not to be creepy doing it. So we'll try to read as much as I can and try to find people that would really benefit from somebody contacting them about a solution like Claritask. And I talked to Eric from Mailshake, which helped me through what cold emailing is and how not to be spammy and how to use Mailshake. So I will give that a try, not just for a week, but I will start next week and give it an honest try and see if that channel will be beneficial to Claritask, because Claritask right now is at a point where I'm finding that people are really loving it once they get their team on, once they're using it with their staff and managing their real projects. It's something that they've really needed. So I'm very confident when I'm demoing it to new clients, and as I introduce it to clients that have never heard about it, then I will try to not sell it, but just introduce them to it, and then hopefully they find it useful. So that's sort of the angle that I want to take. So not push it, just introduce them, maybe set up a demo, set up their team on ClearTask, help them through the features, and if they want something specific, and then hopefully they become a client. So I'll report back on how that goes. Yeah, I think that's it for today. There's a couple of more notes, but this show will go on forever, so I'll leave something for next week. All right, thanks for listening from everywhere that you are. I know I have listeners, mostly in US, but I also have in India, Europe, a bunch of old European countries, mostly England, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Kosovo, I think Germany as well. I have the map full. I will probably post it these days. And yeah, so thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions or any suggestions, what I can do better, I would love to hear from you. I'm on Twitter. My direct messages are open, so you can ping me there. And talk to you soon. All right, bye.